You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on our Training Thursday, we're going to be talking about the difference between lifting heavy versus light weights for body transformation. So this is one of my favorite topics to talk on, and that's really how do we use advanced scientific research, which we know has been proven to work, mix that with clinical information that I have from working in this industry for about 20 years and giving you really the best of the research, best of the real world to let you experiment for yourself and see what works best. But it's always best to start with a proven plan. And that's what we're going to give you today. So to me, in my honest opinion, if you are, let's just say, a female that comes to us, say, I don't want to bulk up, but I want to lose some weight and I want to tone up and I want a smaller waist, I want more tone legs, absolutely fantastic. My advice is still try to put on a couple pounds of muscle because honestly, it will be spread over your entire body. You won't really see it, but it will help boost your metabolism. Now, again, some women want to put on a lot of muscle mass, some want to put on a little bit, some don't want to put on any at all, but I can tell you this. For the majority of women that we see in our practice, 9 out of 10, maybe more, say, I don't want to bulk up. I don't want to put on a lot of muscle. And I totally understand that. Now, keep in mind, this is well over 150,000 personal training sessions that we've done at our 2 locations. We have a lot of data. So I'm not trying to generalize, but what I'm saying is this is real world. Now, a lot of guys come to us and they're in 2 camps. One camp says, I want to look like the cover of basically Men's Health and be nice and lean and athletic looking. And the other type says, I want to be on the cover of like Muscle and Fitness or something like that, like a big bodybuilder type one. Now, we have less and less clients that want to look like that, more saying I want to look like the cover of Men's Health. And athletes, obviously, that's different. That's kind of sports-based performance. So for body transformation, though, should those people who overall need to put on a little bit of muscle, no doubt about it, because that will boost your metabolism. Remember, muscle boosts your metabolism. It absolutely does. It makes you just in general more thermogenic. It makes your body burn up calories at a faster degree. Now, is it night and day? No, but I'll also tell you something else. Whatever muscle you're able to put on, when you go to the gym or your own home gym and you use it, you are more metabolically active. So all those things do matter. The act of actual exercise and the amount of muscle tissue you have in your body, which needs fuel for itself. It's also why your body can look at muscle tissue as almost detrimental in the long term because it needs calories to keep itself going. So here's what we need to look at though. If we're lifting heavy, let's talk about heavy as, let's say, less than 7 repetitions or less. Let's look at how the body works at all those ranges. So essentially let's say it's 1 rep max through 3 reps. This is really more neurological than people think, meaning that you are using your muscle mass, no doubt about it. But what we're looking at is how strong, how adapted is your nervous system to be able to push a lot of weight for just a couple reps, like for max reps. And it's really interesting because the more athletic a person is, the more neurologically adapted, the more weight they can actually lift, even if they don't have as much muscle mass. So we're looking at 1 to 3 reps, not the best way to put on muscle. Okay, so let's think of it that way. That means also not the best way to boost your metabolism. A great way to increase strength, no doubt about it, but not the best way to boost your metabolism. Okay, so now let's look at somewhere around 4 reps to 7 reps, okay? You can even say usually between 5 and 8 reps. That's how I look at it. This is more of an absolute strength-based agenda. So when I'm looking at 5 reps especially, I'm looking at, okay, how much weight can we move for about 5 reps, like 5 sets of 5 or so? This is for someone who's looking to get stronger. This is moving into our muscle-based adaptation. So yes, there's neurological demands, as there always will be, but less so than the 1 to 3 reps, where we're just looking to push the max amount of weight. We're looking at absolute strength. We're looking at strength of the body over those 5 reps. So will some hypertrophy take place? Without a doubt, no doubt about it. But more so, there'll be a balance towards neurological strength, so adaptive-based strength, and muscle-based strength. Now, in this area, it's a very good way to create what's called myofibril-based adaptations. Now, before I get too technical, that just means there can be changes in the actual like dry weight, we'll call it like that, of the muscle tissue itself. Now, as we move up in rep ranges from 8 to 12 reps, we're looking at more of that hypertrophy zone. So this has been shown to be able to create the most amount of muscle mass possible, okay? So this means that I have to step back for one moment. All of these things are taken into consideration that you are pushing your body to about 90% of its maximal output. Meaning, like, if you're lifting that weight for 8 to 12 reps, let's just say you're going for 12, and you pick up a pair of, well, let's just say you pick up one 30-pound dumbbell and you're doing a one-arm row. If you could have gone to 13 reps, but you stopped at 12, okay, well, that's still 90% of your max. You're great. You just didn't max out. You just didn't fail in that last rep. But if you're doing 10 reps and you could have done 13, you're not at 90%. You're just not there. So you still have to push your body each and every week. And that's what I'm going to talk about at the very end. Okay. So now the next range would be more around the 15 rep plus. So I would really go past 15 reps. That's more muscular endurance based. We're starting to work on lactic acid. We're starting to work on anaerobic, aerobic threshold. A little bit different. Now, both, I would say anywhere from around 10 reps to 15 reps, we'll work in that zone all day for beginners. And the reason is this, that not only are you improving form, technique, neurological adaptation, you're working on what's called the sarcoplasm of the muscle. This, again, 70% of your muscle tissue, 70% of your muscle is sarcoplasm. It's water weight. And that's not a bad thing. Our body is made up predominantly of water. Now, there's a lot of other things that go into that sarcoplasm, but that, if we're just talking about muscle, we're talking about a way to boost muscle, well, when you're looking at it, hypertrophy-wise, 8 to 15 reps, somewhere in that range. I would say closer to the 10 to 12 or 10 to 15 range. And again, this has been scientifically proven for decades now. There's a couple greats. I mean, you can look all over, obviously, for studies, but one of the places that just does a lot of great research overall is actually in Canada. I believe it's in Hamilton, Canada. And I'm always quoting this particular university that they're doing this, and Stuart Phillips, who's one of the heads up there as well. But I believe it's called McMaster University, and I should actually verify that as I'm giving people a lot of the tips in the PubMed studies as well. But yeah, McMaster University is again, as it's coming to me right now, one of those places that does a lot of these studies, and so we know again that this works exceptionally well. I want to break down a little further for you right now, though, is that I honestly believe a mix of training once you've gotten past your first 6 months of initial training. So your first 6 months of initial training, in my opinion, is somewhere within the 10 to 15 rep range. It's going to keep you safer. You're going to better utilize your time in the gym. So you're going to be practicing on form. It's going to give you more repetitions to work on form. The weight's going to be a little lighter, and you're also going to get more benefits in terms of body transformation, or I have air quotes going on right here, toning of the muscles right now. Okay. So that's going to give you more options, more time to work on that. And that's simply going to be for about 3 sets. I mean, again, that's where studies show. It's a great rep range to be in. 3 sets for each exercise. Do somewhere around 6 sets. I have 6 exercises of 3 sets for your entire workout. That's what we do here. Again, we've been doing it now for just this particular style of program for about a decade, and it's worked phenomenally well. I mean, I honestly can't tell you. If there was something better, we'd be using it right now, but we see phenomenal body transformation results. And this is covering all bases. People want to lose 100 plus pounds, and those that just want to put on maybe 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, like all different ranges. So what I have to say, very, very important as well, is when you are looking to transform your body, this is the last tip I'm going to give you, really important, is that it honestly doesn't matter necessarily if you're using super heavy weights or light weights. What it does matter is that you pick a rep range and that you work to about 90% of failure each and every week, and that each and every week you're making improvements. Okay, so I've spoken about this before. It's called specific adaptation to imposed demand. It's honestly one of the most important, if not the most important principle when trying to transform your body. If you start with a one-arm row, let's go back to that. One-arm row is simply engaging your core, putting your hand on something to stabilize if you'd like. I don't like the knee on the bench. I like the body to be stabilized. It's more functional. Or don't use an arm on anything as well. And you're going to pick up a weight with one arm, and you're literally going to be bent over at about a 45-degree angle of forward flexion, and you're going to row up that hand towards your oblique, engaging the rhomboids, engaging all of the back muscles. Fantastic, very functional, works on your posture as well. Well, let's say you start week 1 with a 20-pound dumbbell, okay? And you go for 12 repetitions. And let's just say you just always stick with 12. Well, if you're warming up in week 2, you might do 20 pounds, and then you might move up to a 22.5 or a 25 pounder by that third set. On week 3, you might be warming up with 22.5 pounds and then going up to 25 or 27.5 pounds. If you're stuck at the 25, well, you do the 25 for 2 sets then instead of just 1 set. By week 4, this might be your last week in the program, you're doing a 22.5 or just 20-pound warm-up, 25 pounds for your second set, and then 30 pounds or so for your third set. You'll figure it out, right? But that then just shows you that you've improved each and every week, and you've caused some type of muscle tissue breakdown, which then leads to the formation of stronger, larger muscle tissues, which whether it be myofibril based, which is the tissue itself, or sarcoplasmic based, which is the actual fluid of the muscle itself. So honestly, that's how you transform the body. When people talk about a more toned body, you want a more toned body? That's how you do it. Honestly, that is how you do it. If you add in 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at least 2 days a week, we know at least 2 days a week is the gold standard. But if you do 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday of resistance training, even if it's just 20 minutes, you do that, you do a full body workout 3 days a week, and you take each exercise. Now, it doesn't have to be the warm set, but if you take those next 2 sets to 90% of failure, and you progress each and every week, that's it. You've done it. Like, that is how you transform your body. But it's also why you go to the gym and you see people and nothing's changing. Like, even if your diet doesn't change, you should be able to actually create more muscle density. You should start to look different. Now, I know the nutrition is what's going to strip off the body fat, but the boosting of metabolism that you get from these resistance training workouts will help. And then if you add on top of that some interval training or some sprints, that is literally how you transform your body into anything that you would like it to be, regardless of genetics. An ectomorph can put on muscle. I don't want to talk about that today. I'll talk about it at a different show, but they can absolutely put on muscle. An endomorph, they can strip off that body fat. You naturally, if you're an endomorph, you naturally have a lot of mass. Focus more on the sprinting, maybe a little bit more circuits for you. You don't need to build as much mass. What you need to do is rev up that metabolism on a near daily basis. That's what I'm trying to say. Near daily basis. That's going to force you then to burn more body fat, to keep your body elevated. Now, an ectomorph, they're not great on a daily basis. That burns out their nervous system. They need more like every other day. Now, again, I'm getting my head itself into body types. I don't want to talk about that today. So hopefully today's show walked you up the ladder. It taught you what rep range, 8 to 12, 10 to 15. Again, what am I saying for beginners? Somewhere around 10 to 15 for the first 6 months of training. After that, I like a mix. I like somewhere around maybe some weeks, or I should say some days of a program, 5 to 8 reps, but then stay around the 10 to 12. And then maybe you have one day around 15. Again, in A Man's Guide to Muscle and Strength, which again, I think I make $1.50 per sale. So it's not like I'm trying to sell that book. That book details all sorts of different programs. And it's not just for men. It's for women as well. It's for anyone that actually exercises, who works out. And it's just like, that's the book I created for exercise. I don't see myself ever having to create another one. It was published by the #1 fitness publisher for personal trainers, professionals, textbooks. It's what health professionals use to train other clients. And they're a great company, Human Kinetics. I love all their books. I mean, they're fantastic. When they asked me to write for them, I was ecstatic. I was like, absolutely. And they said, well, what if your royalty is XX and X? I said, this isn't about making money. This is like when I can point to, What do you do for workouts? Well, it's just this book. And again, I don't have to make money from it. I can give that information away freely to others. So we'll link that in the show notes. We also have it from our wellness center as well. But hopefully all that makes sense. And again, you don't have to buy the book. I just want to give you the information today. The information will then allow you to look at online programs, the programs that you're doing with your personal trainer. If you are a personal trainer, how to start off beginners or how to ramp up a program in general. But we know now, if you want to build more muscle tissue, stay within the 8 to 15 range. If you want to build up strength and eventually, yes, over the months and years, build up more myofibril based tissue, good. Stay around the 5 rep range. That'll work too. But why not have the best of both worlds? Why not have one day a week around 5 to 8 reps, another day around 10 reps, and another day around 12 to 15 reps? I mean, those are all work great. All those programs will work fantastic. And again, you can blend it however you see fit for your body type and whatever your goals are. So hopefully today's show was enjoyable. I always enjoy talking about exercise and fitness and how it relates to your overall well-being. So thank you once again for tuning into the Cabral Concept.
Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.